Retired haulage contractor granted $3 million bail in alleged $250 million drug proceeds property case. A retired haulage contractor has been granted Jamaican $3 million bail after appearing in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on allegations that she held several high-value properties on behalf of her late nephew, a convicted drug trafficker in the United States. Prosecutors allege that the three multimillion-dollar properties were acquired using proceeds linked to an estimated $250 million generated through drug trafficking activities, making the matter one of the more significant asset recovery cases currently before the Jamaican courts. The woman is facing charges under Jamaica's anti-money laundering and proceeds of crime legislation, with investigators alleging that she knowingly acted as a nominee or proxy owner of her assets that were beneficially owned by her nephew. According to the prosecution, the properties were allegedly purchased and maintained using funds derived from criminal conduct overseas, while legal ownership was placed in the retired contractor's name in an effort to conceal the true source and ownership of the assets. Investigators contend that the arrangement formed part of a broader effort to disguise wealth allegedly generated through international narcotics trafficking. The prosecution maintains that despite the nephew's criminal history in the United States, substantial assets continue to be accumulated in Jamaica through relatives and associates. Financial investigators are expected to rely on banking records, property transaction documents, witness testimony, and international cooperation with U.S. law enforcement agencies to support the allegations. During the bail application, the defense argued that the accused has long-standing ties to her community, has no previous criminal conviction, and is not a flight risk. Defense attorneys further maintained that ownership of the properties does not by itself establish criminal conduct and insisted that the allegations remain unproven. They urged the court to preserve the presumption of innocence while the matter proceeds through the judicial system. After considering submissions from both sides, the court granted the woman Jamaican $3 million bail subject to several conditions. Those conditions reportedly include surrendering her travel documents, reporting regularly to the police, and notifying the authorities before any change of address. The court indicated that the measures were designed to ensure her continued attendance while balancing her constitutional right to liberty before trial. The case now moves into the disclosure phase, during which prosecutors are expected to provide the defense with documentary evidence supporting the allegations. This evidence could include financial records, title documents, and information obtained through mutual legal assistance between Jamaican and U.S. authorities. Additional hearings are expected before the matter is ready for trial. The proceedings also highlight the increasing use of Jamaica's asset recovery framework to pursue property suspected of being connected to organized crime, even where the alleged criminal conduct occurred outside the island. Under the law, investigators are empowered to examine whether assets represent the proceeds of unlawful activity and whether individuals knowingly assisted in concealing or holding such property. It is important to note that the allegations remain before the court and have not been proven. The retired haulage contractor has not been convicted of any offense and is presumed innocent unless and until guilt is established in court. The case is expected to return to the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on a future date as legal proceedings continue. Subscribe today, turn on notifications, and never miss the stories that matter most. Jamaica News Now, your Highlands, your news, right now. More charges laid against St. Mary man accused of dating app robbers. A St. Mary man already facing allegations of targeting women through a dating application has been hit with additional criminal charges following another reported incident in Portmore, St. Catherine. Police say the latest case follows a similar pattern to previous allegations and has intensified investigations into whether there may be additional victims. The accused, 41-year-old Demoy Pennington, a bar operator of Garden Hall, Epsom in St. Mary, is alleged to have robbed a woman after the pair met through a dating application and arranged to meet in person. Investigators say the two went on a date in Portmore before the situation allegedly took a criminal turn. According to police reports, Pennington allegedly stole a woman's handbag, which contained personal belongings, including her bank card. Investigators further alleged that the bank card was subsequently used to make unauthorized withdrawals from the complainant's account, resulting in financial losses. The alleged offenses have led to additional charges being brought against the accused. While investigators have not publicly disclosed the total amount withdrawn from the victim's account, they say the incident forms part of an ongoing investigation into a series of alleged robberies involving women who met the accused through online dating platforms. Detectives are examining similarities between the cases to determine whether they are linked. Pennington remains before the courts on early allegations involving other women, and the latest charges are expected to be added to the existing proceedings. Prosecutors are continuing to gather evidence, including bank records, digital communications, and witness statements, as they build their case. The police are again urging members of the public who use online dating services to exercise caution when meeting individuals for the first time. They recommend arranging initial meetings in busy public locations, informing family or friends of meeting plans, avoiding sharing sensitive financial information, and reporting any suspicious behavior immediately. Authorities are also encouraging anyone who believes they may have had a similar encounter involving the accused to contact the police, as investigators continue to determine whether additional victims may exist. St. Catherine farmer remanded in fatal pitchfork stabbing case. A St. Catherine farmer accused of fatally stabbing a man with a pitchfork has been remanded into custody after appearing before the St. Catherine Parish Court on Friday. The case has attracted attention due to the unusual nature of the alleged weapon and is expected to proceed through the courts in the coming weeks. The accused, 36-year-old Peter Faber, a farmer of Boys Content in Old Harbour, is facing charges in connection with the death of a man during an incident that remains under police investigation. Prosecutors allege that Faber used a pitchfork to inflict fatal injuries on the deceased. The circumstances surrounding the confrontation have not yet been fully outlined in open court. During Friday's court appearance, Faber informed the presiding judge that he was unable to afford legal representation. In keeping with established court procedures, the matter was adjourned to allow arrangements to be made regarding his legal representation before the case proceeds further. The court subsequently ordered that the accused remain in custody pending his next appearance. A date has been set for the matter to return before the court, where prosecutors are expected to continue the disclosure process and outline the evidence supporting the charges. The investigation is being led by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, with detectives continuing to gather witness statements and forensic evidence related to the incident. Authorities have not released further details regarding the events leading up to the alleged attack or the relationship, if any, between the accused and the deceased. If the matter proceeds to trial, the prosecution will be required to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the accused committed the offense. Defense counsel, once appointed or retained, will have the opportunity to challenge the prosecution's evidence and present any available defense. The allegations against Peter Faber remain before the court. The case is expected to return to the St. Catherine Parish Court for further proceedings. Constable Andrew Wilson to return to court Monday as murder case moves to circuit court. The criminal case involving Jamaican Constabulary Force Constable Andrew Wilson, who is charged in connection with the fatal shooting of a woman during protests in Granville, St. James, is set to advance when he returns to court on Monday, July 13th. The matter was mentioned in the St. James Parish Court on Friday, where arrangements were made for the next stage of the proceedings. The 35-year-old police constable is charged with the murder of Latoya Buju Bulgin, whose death during unrest in Granville community earlier this year sparked widespread public concern and renewed debate about police accountability and the use of force. When the matter was called before the St. James Parish Court on Friday, the case was not tried on its merits. Instead, the court confirmed that it is scheduled to be formally transferred to the St. James Circuit Court on Monday, July 13th. The transfer is a standard procedural step, as murder cases are tried in the Circuit Court rather than the Parish Court. Once the case reaches the Circuit Court, the prosecution is expected to continue the disclosure process by providing evidence intended to support the charge. Defense attorneys will also have the opportunity to review the prosecution's case, file any preliminary applications, and prepare for a trial. The Circuit Court will subsequently determine the timetable for future hearings and ultimately the trial. The fatal shooting remains one of the most closely watched police-related criminal cases in Jamaica this year, drawing significant public interest because of the circumstances surrounding the incident and its implications for police oversight and public confidence in the justice system. Members of the public and legal observers are expected to monitor Monday's proceedings closely, although the hearing is anticipated to focus primarily on the administrative transfer of the case rather than the presentation of substantive evidence. Motorists complain of bathroom holding error during traffic ticket days initiative. Concerns have emerged over the treatment of some motorists attending the government's ticket days initiative after several individuals alleged that they were temporarily held inside a bathroom at the National Arena in St. Andrew while awaiting their appearance before a judge. The complaints came on Thursday, the second day of the initiative, which was established to provide motorists with outstanding traffic matters an opportunity to resolve their cases before the courts. According to those affected, some individuals who were arrested on warrants previously issued by the courts were escorted into what they described as a bathroom area and remained there while waiting to be processed. Several motorists expressed dissatisfaction with the conditions, arguing that the holding arrangements were inappropriate given the large number of people attending the event. Some claimed the space was overcrowded and uncomfortable, raising concerns about the treatment of individuals who had voluntarily attended or were being processed through the court system. The incident has prompted a renewed discussion about balancing efficient law enforcement with the humane treatment of individuals appearing before the courts. It remains unclear whether any review of the holding arrangements will be conducted following the complaints made during Thursday's proceedings. Subscribe today, turn on notifications, and never miss the stories that matter most. Jamaica News Now, your Highlands, your news, right now.